I wonder if we had some open air gondolas, if we could throw fishing line over and do some river trolling. Next, we welcome Richard to talk about this.
Hi, good evening. My name is Richard Fernley, and my presentation is Blazing New Rails, How Citrus County Can Lead Rural America Back to Prosperity. High-speed rail has caused much debate recently. However, I like this quote from J. Paul Getty. The businessman who goes against the current of popular opinion should expect to be opposed, derided, and damned. That's what made me rich. Literally. Florida was sparsely inhabited and in economic shambles after the Civil War, until two guys named Henry Plant and Henry Flagler, spent their personal fortunes bringing the railroads to Florida. This would catalyze Florida's great prosperity in the 20th century. If gas continues to rise at this rate, we could be looking at over $7 a gallon by the 2020s. These scenarios are not economically sustainable, and for rural communities like ours, would be devastating. Opponents of rail tend to say it is too costly, but when you consider the cost of keeping vehicles on the road in the future, roads end up being more costly. Continuing to sink money into roads is not a long-term solution. It is throwing good money after bad. In the next 40 years, the population of Central Florida is predicted to double in size. Has anyone been on I-4 or I-275 recently? Where are these people going to fit? So again, we find the money we were saving up front is not truly a savings at all. Rail is more efficient and less costly. Businesses can ship more goods farther at the same prices they were paying over 30 years ago. Rail would create high-wage jobs in multiple sectors. These high-wage jobs would stimulate all areas of Citrus County's economy. Tampa and Orlando would be reachable in less than an hour. This would attract high-wage earners from those areas to Citrus County. Rail emits the least pollution of any form of motorized transportation. This would protect our most valuable resource that can't be replaced. Now, Florida is not a dream, it's actually happening. At the end of 2015, private investment is bringing passenger rail service to the East Coast in Florida. It's called All Aboard Florida. We'll offer passenger service from Miami to Orlando with stops in Fort Lauderdale, Cocoa Beach, West Palm Beach, possibly Crystal River. Inverness too. Imagine the Nature Coast Railway. Imagine us being able to tap into a statewide rail transit system. It could be advertised as the gateway to the real Florida. Think about tourism revenue that would generate. The cost benefit. Well, rail access would make our bountiful supply of affordable housing available to areas like Tampa and Orlando, where there's great demand for a lower cost of living. Well, what makes real estate valuable? Well, real estate's made valuable by what it has to offer. For over 20 years now, studies have shown rail positively impacts property values. Matter of fact, it's happening in China right now as we speak. China is investing over $300 billion into its high-speed rail network. That's billion with a B. America would be wise to do the same if it wants to be an economic force in the 21st century. It's not too long ago our county was covered extensively by rail. It can happen again, and I believe it is not a question of what we could do, but more of a question of what we have to do. Through rail, Florida can lead the country by being the example of how an economy can be turned around, not just for the short term, but for the long term. Ultimately, our nation must move forward and restore an infrastructure that has gone ignored for far too long. And again, China shows us it can be done successfully on a large scale. Well, the time is now, not tomorrow, not next year, not in 5 years, but now. Robert Frost once said, "Freedom lies in being bold." We cannot continue to apply 20th century remedies to 21st century problems. We also cannot afford to do nothing and expect something in return, but we can do something bold and pave the way for future generations to come. Thank you for your time.